Have you ever noticed how the events of the past seem to echo in the present? Welcome to our exploration of the cyclical nature of history. Today, we delve into the intriguing idea that history, in its own peculiar way, tends to repeat itself. In the grand tapestry of time, the threads of historical events weave and intertwine, forming patterns that echo throughout the ages. This idea is not a new one. In fact, the ancient Greeks were among the first to suggest that history is cyclical, with their philosopher Heraclitus famously stating that everything flows, nothing stands still. Fast forward to the 19th century, and we find the German philosopher Friedrich Hegel presenting the concept of the dialectic, a process where history progresses through a series of contradictions and their resolutions. Hegel believed that historical events and ideas evolve in a spiral, not a straight line, repeating themselves at higher levels of complexity. Then, in the 20th century, we find the British historian Arnold Toynbee, who suggested that civilizations rise and fall in a cyclical pattern. According to Toynbee, the growth and decay of civilizations are not random, but follow a distinct pattern that can be observed and studied. Take, for instance, the rise and fall of empires. The Roman Empire, which began in the 8th century BC and fell in the 5th century AD, shares striking similarities with the British Empire, which rose in the 16th century and declined in the 20th. Both empires expanded rapidly, achieved remarkable technological and cultural advancements, but eventually succumbed to internal conflicts and external pressures. Similarly, the recurring economic booms and busts throughout history suggest a cyclical pattern. The Dutch tulip mania of the 17th century, the Wall Street crash of 1929, and the housing bubble of 2008 all share common traits. They began with an economic boom, followed by irrational exuberance, and ended in financial ruin. Yet amidst these cycles, progress persists. Each repetition of history brings with it new lessons, new insights, and new opportunities for growth. As Mark Twain once said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. In summary, the idea that history repeats itself is not just an old adage, but a concept deeply rooted in philosophy and historical observation. From the ancient Greeks to modern historians, the cyclical nature of history has been recognized and studied. The rise and fall of empires, economic booms and busts, and even the evolution of ideas all seem to follow a cyclical pattern. Yet, with each repetition, there is progress and growth. History may not repeat itself exactly, but it certainly appears to rhyme. So as we march forward into the future, let us remember the lessons of the past. For as philosopher George Santayana famously said, "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it."